In this video, we're going to go through on Nanhua Primary School Primary 5 Mathematics Term 1 Weighted Assessment 2025. If you want to find out more exam papers like this, you can find at easy1.sg/SG exam. So let's get started on the first question. Alright, question number 1. 6,052,020 in numerals is. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put all the, I would say, the whole thing over here, 6,052,020, something like this. Okay, so we're going to break down each part of the sentence into its numbers. So first is 6 million. So 6 million will look like this with 6 and 6 zeros. Second is 52,000. So 52,000 over here will look something like this, right? So 52, we're going to put here 52,000, 52 and 3 zeros. And lastly, we have 20, which is pretty straightforward. 20 will look something like this. So the answer, we'll just add them up all together. So answer will be 6 million plus 52,000 plus 20. And what will this give us? This will give us what? 6 million and 52,020. That looks like this. So the answer to this is option number 3. All right, let's move on to the next question. All right, question number 2. 5,782,390 is equal to 500,000 plus what? Plus 90. What is the missing number in the blank? So in this case, to find the missing number, we minus the other numbers. So what do I mean by this is I will get the whole 5,782,000 minus the whole 5 million, and we will get 782,390. Then after that, 782,390, we will just minus the last number, which is 90, and this will give us 782,300. So what's the answer? The answer is option number 4, in this case over here. Question number 3, find the value of 8 plus 6 times 9 minus 7. So this is what we call the order of operations. So first thing first is we want to have, what do we do, right? If you say multiply no, first is we need to go and do the things inside the brackets. So inside the brackets, or if there's no brackets, then second is from left to right, we multiply or divide. And then lastly, we will have from left to right, add or subtract. So from here, in this equation, what do we do first? First thing first is we will do either, what do you think, 8 plus 6 or 6 times 9? If you say 6 times 9, you're right. So 6 times 9 is 54. Then you can do whatever. And so generally, I recommend to go from left to right because it's safer. So from left, we will have 8 plus 54, which will give us 62 minus 7, which is 55. So the answer to this question is 55. All right, let's move on to the next question. Okay, question number 4. Find the value of 7,200,000 divided by 1,000. So for division of 10, 100, or 1,000, we just subtract the number of zeros if we have this kind of numbers. Right? So for example, if we have 390, right? Okay, we will divide 10, then we just subtract 39, right? Or in this case, we just move one decimal up. Okay, so in this case, I think we don't say we just subtract. So we move one decimal up according to the number of zeros. So in this case, 390 divided by 10, we move one decimal up as we divide by 10, which has 1 0. So in this case over here, for 7,200,000, we divide by 1,000. So we move how many decimals? 3 decimals up as we divide by 1,000, which has 3 zeros. Okay, in this case. So that means this is equal to, okay, so I should put this in a whole new sentence, right? So it's easier to see. So we move 3 decimal up. This will then be 7,200, which is option number 4 in this case over here. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question number 5. Kaiwan had $100 at first. She bought 5 magazines which cost $16 each. She also bought a book which cost $4. Which expression represents how much she had left? So first, she had $100. Then the total magazine, we don't, have the actual value. So we just put total magazine cost, which is basically dollar bracket 5 times 16. And then lastly, we have a book as well, which is $4. So for what we are left with, we need to actually minus everything. So we look something like this. So 100 minus dollars bracket 5 times 16 minus $4. But since there's no option for this, so we can put the 16 as $16 as well. So the answer to this question will look something like this. So there's no add, there's only minus. So in this case, the option number 1 is the answer. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question number 6. A strip of wire of length 2 meters is divided into 8 equal parts as shown. What is the length of each part? So in this case, pretty straightforward. We have one strip which is 2 meters, and we divide the strip by with 2 meters divided by 8, right? And what would this give us? This will give us 0.25 meters. Okay, so this is just a simple division. All right, that's it. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question 7a, find the value of 27 divided by 8. Express the answer as a mixed number in its simplest form. So we were going to put the workings as 27 divided by 8. So it will look something like this. All right. So we just have the workings as such. All right. And then now we just divide it. So what is a multiple of 8 that we can minus 27 with? So if your answer is minus 24, then you're right. So we just minus 24 in this case over here. And what will be the remaining? The remainder will be 3. Okay, so in this case, we just put 3. And on top, we also put 3 as well. So in this case, 27 divided by 8 is equal to, so the whole number is 3. And then what's the numerator? The numerator is the remainder 3 out of 8. So in this case, the answer is 3 out of 8. There you go. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question 7b, find the value of 3 divided by 12. Express the answer as a fraction in its simplest form. So same thing, what we can do is we can have 3 out of 12 because division is just a fraction. So in this case over here, we can simplify 3 divided by 12 itself. So what is the common multiple for 3 and 12? Pretty straightforward. We can divide it by, if you guess 3, then you are right. So we divide 3 for the numerator and the denominator in itself. So then we simplify 3 divided by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, right? And then 12 divided by 3 is 4. So in this case, 3 out of 12, okay, or 3 divided by 12 is equal to 1 out of 4. In this case, that's the answer, 1 out of 4. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question 8a, express the following as a decimal. 19 out of 3, correct to 1 decimal place. So when it says correct to 1 decimal place, all right, so we need to get the decimal place. We need to get the number to 2 decimal place first, then round according to the second decimal place. So we just need to divide. Okay, so in this case, it's 19 divided by 3, right? In this case over here. All right, so what is closest to 19? So in this case, it is minus 18, right? So let's minus minus 18. Okay, so 18 is what times 3? It is 6. So we're gonna put 6 over here. All right, so now we are left with 1. So 19 divided by 19 minus 18 is 1. Okay, and then what we need to do is we need to put the 0.0. Okay, so 1.0, what do we minus with? Okay, is minus 0.9. Okay, essentially just 9 now, right? So we just put 9 over here. Okay, so now we minus 9. What is 9? It's basically 3. So we just put 6.3. So same thing, 10 minus 9, what this will give us? It will give us the same thing. So it's just 10 minus 9 again, right? So like this, that's why I say over here. All right, so then there we go. So 6.33 ... Okay, so that means 19 divided by 3 is equal to 6.33 ... So correct to 1 decimal place, we round. So 3 is not 5 or more. That means its answer is 6.3 in this case over here. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question 8b, express the following as a decimal. 3 out of 8. So correct to 2 decimal place. So to correct to 2 decimal place, we need to get the number to 3 decimal place first. So then round according to the third decimal place, in this case over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 3 divided by 8. So in this case, right, 8 divided by 3 as what you see over here. 3 divided by 8 as what you see over here. So we cannot have 8 minus 3, so we're going to add a 0. And then after that, what can we minus 3.0 or 30 in this case? So 24, right, 2.4. Okay, so we just minus 2.4 in this case. And what will this be? This will be 0.3. Okay, so 3 times 8 is 2.4. Okay, and this will then give us 6. Right, so let's put 6 over here, and that should be 60. So what is the closest to 60? It should be 56. So 7 times 8 is 56. So 60 minus 56, and this will give us 40. Right, so let's put here 5, 6 will give us 40, and 40 over here, right? 40 minus 40. Okay, so in this case, 40 minus 40 will be 5. So 375. So we want to correct to 2 decimal place. So in this case, 3 out of 8, right, is equal to 3 divided by 8, which is the same as, and the answer is 0.375. And we need to round up to the second decimal place. So 0.38. Since 5, to round must be 5 or more. And it is. So we just round up to 0.38. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question 9. 5 pizzas were shared equally among 4 children. What fraction of the pizza did each child get? Express your answer as a fraction or mixed number in its simplest form. So in this case, we have 5, right? So it's basically 5 divided by 4. Essentially, it's 1/4. That's it, right? So if you were to divide, which I will show you as well, 4 divided by 5. It's very simple numbers, right? Nothing new from this one. So 4 divided by 5 over here. And then what we can do is we can just have 4 over here. So where this? Okay, so we have minus 4. And what would this give us? The remainder, right? So the remainder is, in this case, 1. So 1, 1, and 4. So that means it's just one whole number, 1 out of 4. Okay, pretty straightforward. Nothing new. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 10. Mary bought 3/10 kg of flour and 2/5 of sugar to bake cookies. How much flour and sugar did she buy all together? Express your answer as a decimal. Okay, so in this case over here, Mary bought 3/10 and 2/5 to how much flour did she buy all together? So you just add, right? Pretty straightforward. So 3 out of 10, so I would say total is equal to 3 out of 10 plus 2 out of 5. So we just make the 2 out of 5 to denominators 10. So it's 3 out of 10 plus 4 out of 10. And this will give us 7 out of 10 kg. Okay, there you go. So express your answer as decimal. So 7 out of 10 kg, right? Let me put this like this so it's easier to see. So 7 out of 10 kg, right? And this is essentially, so I'll just put here 7 out of 10 kg, right? Separate it out. Okay, so 7 10 is basically equal to 7 divided by 10, and this will give us 0.7 kg. Okay, and that's the answer, 0.7 kg. All right, so let's move on to the next paper, paper 2. Alright, paper 2, question 1. The table shows the prices of admission tickets to the Universal Studios. A family of 4 adults and 3 children went to the Universal Studios on Saturday. They also bought 4 express pass tickets. What was the least possible amount of money they had to pay to go to Universal Studios? Alright, so in this case, we have the adults, the child, and also special family bundle for 2 adults and 2 children. So in this case over here, we have 4 adults and 3 children. So we will then use the special bundle because it's cheaper. So that means for the bundle, which is in this case 2 adults plus 2 children, this would then cost how much? 240 or 280. So this bundle is on a Saturday, right? Bundle or Saturday bundle. Okay, sounds nicer. So Saturday bundle is expensive because, you know, a lot of people. So it's $280. Okay, so now what are we left with? So a family of 4 adults. So I'm just going to put here 4 adults and 3 children. Oops, I can't. Okay, so total will be equal to 4 adults and then plus 3 children. So then we will have remaining, right? 2 remaining 2 adults plus 1 children. Okay, so sadly we cannot add another child. If not, we can get 2 Saturday bundles. So that means the remaining cost will then be equal to 2 times. So what's the adults? 83. And then what's the children? Plus 62. So in this case over here, 2 times 83 will be 166 plus 62, which will then give us $228 in this case. All right, so we have the remaining cost. Okay, the next thing is they also bought 4 express pass tickets. So express passes is 4 times 120, and this will give us $480. So the total cost will then be equal to 480 and then plus 280, which is the Saturday price, plus 40 plus 228 in this case over here, plus 228. Okay, so total cost, and from here we can calculate. So 480, 280, 760. So 760 plus 228. This will give us 988. So $988. Okay, so the answer is $988. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question 2. Madam Fatima bought 16 bags. She paid $150 for each bag. With the same amount of money, she could buy 24 identical blouses. What will be the price of the 2 blouses? Okay, so total paid for 16 bags is equal to 16 times 150. So 16 times 150 will be $2,400. Okay, and then she could buy 24 identical blouses. So 24 blouses is equal to $2,400. So one blouse is equal to, or not blouse, blouse is equal to 2,400 divided by 24, which is 100. So 2 blouses is equal to 100 times 2, which is $200. So the answer is $200. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question number 3. Carl is 11 years old and James is 17 years old. How many years ago was James 3 times as old as Carl? So in this case over here, we can draw a model, right? So first thing first is, all right, so we're going to draw a model for James and Carl. And we know James is 17 years old and Carl is 11, right? So what does that mean? That means that their difference is how many? 6, right? So difference is 17 minus 11 equal to 6, right? So why are we doing this? Let me just make this a bit larger, something like this. So the thing is that we want to find out how many years ago was James 3 times as old as Carl. So that means the difference, right? Okay, so I just want to share, if the difference, because age, we don't have, we can't suddenly have James plus 2, for example, right? Minus 17 will be 15 and Carl will stay the same, no, right? So they will, in a way, become younger, the same in terms of how they age. So if it were to be 16, then this will be 10, something like this, right? Oops, this will be 10. Okay, so we need to know that they always have the same difference. So in this case over here, right? So this will be 17. So no matter what age, they have the same difference. So with that said, that means James and Carl, if they are difference if they have the same difference, that means over here James will be 3 units, right? 3 units, and then Carl will be 1 unit, because how many years ago was James? 3 times as old as Carl. So with that said, the difference will just be 6. Okay, and that means 3, or in this case, difference in units is equal to 3 minus 1 equal to 2 units. That means 2 units equal to 6. And then 3 units or 1 unit is equal to 6 divided by 2, which is 3. So Carl was 3 years old when James was 3 times as old as Carl. So we also know that Carl now is 11 years old. So that means a number of years ago when James was 3 times is equal to, in this case, 11 minus 3, which is equal to 8 years ago, right? 8 years ago. So the answer is 8. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question number 4. John had $260 more than Ali. Ravi had 4 times as much money as John. After Ali spent $60, John had 3 times as much as what Ali had left. How much money did Ravi have? So let's draw a model. So John and then Ali, right? Ali. So John had $260 more, so 260 more than Ali. So in this case, the difference over here, if I were to write this down, okay, the difference is 260. That's what I see over here, 260. Right. Okay, so now next thing is, Ravi had 4 times as many as John. So I'm going to put Ravi over here. So I'm going to copy and paste. I'm going to put Ravi at the top. So I'm going to make this a little bit shorter like this. So Ravi over here has 4 times as much as John. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so if I zoom out a bit, okay, that's what you see over here. So after Ali spent $60, John had 3 times as much as what Ali had. So that means when Ali spent $60, so if I were to make this a little bit shorter, as what you see over here, oops. So if we were to zoom at Ali, so if Ali were to spend $60 more, so I'm going to put here as like $60, and this will be dotted. So $60 gone. Okay, so that means John will have 3 times as much as Ali. So this means what? That means John has 3 times, which is in this case 3 units, and then Ali had 1 unit. So how much money did Ravi have at first, right? So in this case, can you guess what can we do from this model? So that means 2 units, right? 3 minus 1 unit is 2 units equal to 60 plus 260, and this will give us $320. So then 1 unit is equal to 320 divided by 2, and this will give us $1.60. Okay, so we want to know Ravi. So you see Ravi over here, he has 3 units. Okay, and then we have 3 units. So we're going to do the same for everything here. 3 units, right? 3 units. And then lastly, this is also 3 units, not 2, 3 units. So Ravi in units is equal to 3 times 4, which is 12 units. So 12 units is equal to 160 times 12, and then this will give us $1920. Okay, so the answer to this question is $1,920. Right, let's move on to the next question. Mrs. Ang and Mrs. Chan had an equal number of stickers at first. After Mrs. Ang used 356 stickers and Mrs. Chan used 86 stickers, Mrs. Chan had 4 times as many stickers as Mrs. Ang. How many stickers did each of them have at first? Okay, so we're going to draw a model. So Mrs. Ang and Mrs. Chan. So they both have equal number. So I'm going to put here equal number of stickers at first. All right, so let's zoom this in. Now, the next thing is, after Mrs. Ang used 356 and Chan used 86. So I'm just gonna make this a little bit smaller. Okay, so this one over here, whoops, is 86. So I'm gonna put here as 86. And then after that, Mrs. Ang used 356. So it's a lot more. That's what I see over here, right? Okay, so like this. Oops, paste it over here. So 356 is like this. 356. That's what I see over here. All right, so then that means Mrs. Chen had 4 times as many stickers as Mrs. Ang. So that means this will be 4 units. So 4 times. And this will be 1 unit. Okay. So how many stickers did each of them have at first? Right. So in this case, do you know how to solve this? Pretty straightforward. We can get the difference, right? So in this case, 3 units, 4 units minus 1 unit is 3 units. It's equal to 356 minus 86. Okay. So in this case, let me just put an arrow so it's easier to see. So this itself, oops, like this, and this is solid. This is 3 units, and we can get 3 units. 356 minus 86, and this will give us 270. Okay, and then 1 unit is equal to 270 divided by 3, which is 90. So how many stickers did each of them have at first? So at first, either way, you can do either 4 units times 90 or 1 unit plus 356. So either way, I'm going to do just Mrs. Ang. So 90 plus 356, and this will give us 446 stickers. All right, there you go. So that's the answer to this question. So this is the last question, and that's about it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want more of this kind of video, subscribe down below and comment down what other papers you want me to go through next. See you in the next one. Bye bye.